been he rose again for the long-suffering Cardinals last year and took them to the Super Bowl a year ago. Warner's, achieved a lot of great things, but one of the things that Warner is a man of God. Warner is a man of deep faith and he carried his Bible to each post-game news conference, walked away with a year left on his 2-year contract for $23 million, knowing that he still had the skill to play. In fact, his last game before last, he completed 25 of 29 passes and five TDs. So he had more TDs than he did incomplete passes. So that's a pretty awesome achievement right there. And last year when he won the Super Bowl, when he went to the Super Bowl, I remember him saying that, he says, you know what, he was with a big smile on his face, he says, you know what, I know you guys get tired of me saying it, but I never get tired of saying it. I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So the world may get tired of, hearing him, but you know what, he is a great spokesman for me personally. So he is one of my favorites. It's been an amazing ride, he said. I don't think I could have dreamt it. I would have played it would have played out like this. I've been humbled every day that I woke up for the last 12 years and amazed that God would choose to use me to do what was given to me an opportunity to do. Now that's a humble man right there. He recognized that, it's a gift from God. He was I don't even really have to read this stuff because I already know his story. He really was, he tried out for the Packers, and he did not make that Packer team. So he went through the Arena Football League, he went through the World Football League, nobody wanted him because, they said he didn't have the skills. He was actually under Brett Favre. Warner was one of the greatest postseason performers in Arizona, which is I just told you about, the 51-41, 45 loss to them, and then a week later he lost to New Orleans. He has demonstrated, he has had a dominant career. He's a good person. Cardinals Darnell Dockett said he's got to do what's best for his family. He's played long enough. He took us to a Super Bowl last year. He had a great season. It's a good thing for him. He's going out on top. Now this guy may not know him as a man of God, but he does know that he's a man of integrity. And now that Cardinals, they signed him in 2005, and after that he signed in 2005 because no team would give him a chance to be a starter after he had achieved so much. His opportunities over the next 2 years were scattered all over the place. Even when Ken Weinsford, the coach, took over in 2007, he had to compete for the job. But with when Liner went down, Warner stepped in again. That was the same story with Trent Green. He went down, and Warner stepped in and won MVP and won the Super Bowl. Warner leads the game with just incredible numbers, and I'm not going to go through all this. He's leading the game with some numbers that should land him in the Hall of Fame. Just some of them. He's completed 65% of his passes. He's the only one or two quarterbacks that have completed 14,000 yards and 100 touchdowns for two different teams. He's also one of the fastest quarterbacks alongside Dan Marino to 30,000 yards. And the owner of the Cardinals said, I've only had the privilege of being around one other person that I can say I was close to him, was Walter Payton. Graves said, I think when you have an extraordinary player, one who is just extraordinary off the field, then you realize that you have been in the presence of someone special. Again, I don't think this guy, really knows what he's talking about. I don't really think he knows that Kurt Warner is, the only where he's getting anything is from God Himself. But even his peers, respect what he has accomplished and how he's handled himself on the field and off the field. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He said, I think it is well known that he's one of the best people I've ever been around. Warner brought his wife Brenda and their 7 children to the podium. He hugged each one of them. And as I read this, he even got choked up and thanked them. Every day I come home, he says, it doesn't matter if I won or lost, throwing a touchdown pass or an interception. The one thing that I always knew that when I entered that room and I stepped in our house, none of it mattered to these guys. And he said, I can't tell you how much of a blessing that is. Then it just goes about some of his accomplishments here in his MVP season, but he ends it up like this. He says, how would you like to be remembered? He says, it's not the way I threw the football. It's not a particular game that I had won. But they will remember that here's a guy that believed and hard work. Again, to have a Christian life, it takes discipline. Although things didn't always go in my favor, he continued to press through, and with the faith in himself and the faith in God, he was able to accomplish great things. And Drew Brees said something a little bit similar to that. And he said that he's gone through some tough times. They said he was too small. They said his arm strength wasn't good enough. And he says, I believe wholeheartedly the fact that everything happens for a reason. At times, God is going to put you through a position to wonder why this is happening to me or to us, and you know it's happening for a reason. It's there to make you stronger and to give you the opportunity. See, God always, gives us opportunities. I was reading Samuel, and he asked for wisdom, and the next thing, obviously God gave him the opportunity. So there it is. In closing here, he is one of the best quarterbacks in. Sorry. And the reason I read about Kurt Warner is because he's like me. No, he's not. I know I can't throw a football. We're like-minded because we're like-minded in Christ, and we all are called to run a race in our own lives. And 2 Timothy 4:7 says, "We're else to finish the race, fight the good fight. We're else to keep the faith." And Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses." And like Kurt Warner, people are watching our lives too. Let us lay aside every weight that and the sin that which is, easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, he says. And then the like-minded part is in Philippians 2:20 when Paul's speaking to Timothy. He says that that we are like-minded, that we're sincere, and we care about the same things. He goes along and says to the body about him and Timothy. He says we care about the same things. For the rest of the world, they are self-seeking, and they are not about God's about Christ. So I just like man, that is what I love. I love guys like that will he is one of the most vocal spokesperson for what we all believe in, and that is our Lord and Savior. And like I said, and oh yeah, I may not be able to throw a football, but maybe when when we all get to that big house where we can run and play football, I might be able to go and do a down and out, and I can see Kurt Warner throwing me that football pass for a touchdown. I was trying to say maybe Bob, I just scored a touchdown on Bob or something. And I can do my victory dance.
That's right.